Hello, my friends. It's year 14, week number 726. This week, I wanted to talk a little bit about my strategy, specifically regarding my unemployment status right now. I have a little bit of a plan in mind in terms of how we're going to go forward, job searching, a little bit of community outreach, a little bit of resume building, and I thought that in this week's video, we would kind of discuss my strategy about how I'm going to break down those three little pieces of the puzzle to kind of get us going into these next coming weeks, coming months. So in case you missed it, a couple of weeks ago, I lost my job. So what have I been up to in these past few weeks? Nothing, quite frankly. Back in LA last week. We're back in New York City now. But in terms of trying to find something new to do, I've just been kind of generally sending out my resume to different job listings that I've been finding. But I think this week when I came back, I've been thinking about we need to strategize a little bit more and not just blindly send out resumes to places, because I really don't think that's going to be getting us anywhere. The way I'm breaking this down in my head, basically, there's applying to jobs. That's like the resume, sitting down at a computer, sending in resumes to different companies that I'm interested in when I see job listings, right? That's what I've been doing up till now. I think the other two pieces of the puzzle are community outreach. That's what I'm calling it. Basically what that is like going to networking events, to find opportunities. I think this also includes the way someone would go and talk to someone in their network who maybe has a job that they're interested in or works in your industry, and just kind of letting them know. I think simply letting people know that I don't have a job and I'm kind of out there looking. That's kind of what I consider to be community outreach. The third category, I'm just gonna call it practice. Practicing the craft, okay? Now, what do I consider practice? I remember many years ago when I first graduated college, I had this strategy of creating fake advertisements, basically creating work that you would wanna be making. You're simultaneously practicing your skills, but also there's the small serendipity that the thing that you're making is actually gonna be helpful for a company, or if a person wants to use the video. And I kind of stopped doing that once I started working, because there's just a limited amount of time. But I think, my friends, it's time to start going back to that strategy. I've already created a new Instagram account. I don't expect anyone to follow it, but basically this account is specifically going to be used for creating stuff, posting it, and then when people are like, hey, I know you're a video creator, can we see some of your work you've made? I'll just send them this specific Instagram, which has all of my work already in there. The strategy for the breakdown of the three categories, I'm thinking it's like a 40-20-40. The 20 is the community outreach, only because there's only so many people I know that I can reach out to. There's only so many networking events I can attend. So 40-20-40 is the breakdown of how I'm going to spend my time. So for this week, week number 726, I just wanted to talk about, we're calling it Kevin's three-part unemployment plan. We're walking over to Flatiron area of Manhattan, New York City. There's this podcast called The Moth. It's a podcast where they have guests on who tell personal stories. And so each episode of the podcast is made up of maybe 3 people who speak, and each one of them tells a story about a particular theme. And each episode, the theme changes. And tonight, we're going to a live taping of that podcast. I found out about this through the hosts of the event. This is being hosted by jointly friends of the vlog, Joyce and Meredith. I don't know how the format's gonna go, but I'm pretty sure everybody's just gonna show up, sit down, and then they're gonna start. I think they're recording it. And then I think the people who are speaking are all like pre-selected people who they've chosen to be in the episode. I don't think it's like one of those things where they just randomly pull people from the audience. But we're going to this taping. We're gonna sit down, listen to the talks, and this will be my first time attending one of these live podcast recordings. I'm sitting next to Meredith. Thanks for hosting.
Of course. It's a pleasure.
What are your first impressions of this situation right now?
This feels very regal. I feel like royalty sitting here, and I'm really excited. Oh, we're about to start.
About to start. All right, my friends. It has begun. It has begun.
I started practicing, I started like working while they did their thing, and I was like, it's okay, it's gonna be fine. Waited and waited, then the director comes back and says, Jason, listen, you're dead now. You're dead, you don't have a line, just try not to breathe when I say action. And I was like, oh, okay. I was devastated, and now I felt like I was having an MRI. Yeah. I know,
Okay, my friends, the event is over. Actually, standing right here with this is good.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
See that glow?
Nice. Okay.
Joyce, tell people, I always find the origin stories to be really interesting. So first tell everyone where you were born, and then where you currently are and how long you've been in New York City.
Okay. Yeah, so I was born in Malaysia, actually, in Petaling Jaya.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought Denver was the origin story. Okay.
No, I lived in Denver for most of my formative years, like middle school. I went to college there, and then I moved to Texas for a little while, and then I moved to New York after a long stint of, a short stint living out of my car and doing like the whole van life thing, and but out of a Honda Civic. And yeah, so then I moved to New York to be closer to my parents, and I've been here for about 2 years, a little over 2 years.
I did this question last week, but I want to ask you because I've never asked you.
Okay.
But what's a song that when you hear it, it instantly puts you in a good mood?
Oh my God, this one song, what is that? The one from 50 Shades of Grey.
I've never seen that.
I forgot what it's called, but it's like, I don't want to sing it. Love me like you do, love me like you do.
Oh,
touch me like you do,
yeah.
touch me
That's,
like you do.
That's Ellie Goulding?
In college, I told my friends that I was going to interpretive dance to this song at my wedding. And now that, I told them that, I feel like I have to actually do it. So, yeah, I always giggle when it comes on, and I'm like, oh, it's from 50 Shades of Grey, and then imagining myself, like, interpretive dancing is pretty funny. So.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
Thanks,
so
Joyce.
that's it, yeah.
Let's go home now.
Yeah.
I don't know what the podcast event was for. I mistakenly thought it was a podcast recording for The Moth. It was a Moth event. It was not being recorded, but there was 10 people who went up on stage, told their stories, and I think it was just like a live event that was branded by the podcast. In regards to my project that I've got going on this week, I found out about this brand here, and I'm going to be making a video about this. This is a little cocktail drink. That's the subject of my very first video that's going to be going onto my brand new Instagram. So this week, I shot some product photography, and over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be animating this stuff into what I think is going to be an 8 to 10 second video for social media. Thanks for watching the video this week. It's been year 14, week number 726. Next week will be week number 727.